it's that time again, folks. We're approaching the end of the month, and as you might be aware on this channel, at the end of the month, I like to kind of look back and give a bit of a conclusion of what we've spoken about. A bit of a look back at all the chaos that we've had the pain of watching over the last 30 to 31 days, or in February's case, 28 days. Like, why do you have to be different? But don't worry, even though the month's a bit shorter, we still have a bunch of shite to talk about, eh? I bet you're excited. Now, to be honest, you're probably not, because this month we have seen many weird clips, like Tana Mojo actually pissing on Shane Dawson. So maybe a recap is the last thing you wanted, but either way, we've got a bunch of people here, as you can see, a bunch of people we spoke about within the last month. And with the majority of them being your stereotypical LA YouTubers, I decided to make the tiers this month a bit more LA. So if I don't think what you did is actually that bad, then you can get in the top category, which is your shit fire, homie. But if what you did wasn't really that bad, but kind of a little bad, maybe like a mistake or something, you can go in the second category called you ain't even that bad, on guard. And then you've got the middle category. These are usually the people that I don't really have any emotions towards in the slightest, and they didn't really do anything too crazy, and they didn't really do anything that great either. And it's called low-key could be worse, bro. Sorry, as I'm reading all these tiers, I did just remember that the vast majority of my audience are American. So, I just want you to know, it's not you that I dislike. It's just the LA influencers. Look, it's a big country. Do you really need the LA influencers? You can disown them, it doesn't matter. But now we're into the bottom two categories. So if what you did is pretty bad, but you're not quite in the pits just yet, you can go into, you really thought you did something, huh? And finally, the last category, the pit, the place you really don't want to be. Oh, this tea is boiling. But either way, let's go one by one and remind ourselves of the absolute shit we spoke about this month. Up first, Tana Mojo. Now, we actually spoke about Tana Mojo because she released a brand new wine called Dizzy. It's a very creative name, very creative branding on the can, okay? Like, that is true art right there. And it was also a very creative taste. So we thought. So this article was released by US Weekly or Us Weekly, yeah. I still don't really know what it's called. So it's an article where they got a quote from David Weintraub, who is the CEO of DWE Talent and Tana Mojo's manager. We tasted a lot of grapes and looked at many different options when dialing the taste for Dizzy. We finally found a great relationship with Elix. Now, Elix just so happened to be a website where anybody, including me, including you, can go on there and get custom alcohols. I went into way more detail in my previous video, but all you need to know is that the default wine on this website that anybody in the world can use and put their own branding onto it is the exact same wine that Tana Mojo is selling, even though she said she spent months tasting it and trying to find the perfect wine. Hints of pear, lychee, white peach, lemon, white floral perfume. And the taste for Dizzy is pear, lychee, white peach, lemon, white floral perfume. It's the exact same drink. Tana Mojo is being yet again very, very lazy and selling it at a premium to make a bunch of profit, eh? Are we even shocked? Now, with that being said, I feel like Tana Mojo can go into the second to bottom category. You really thought you did something, huh? Yeah, it really isn't that surprising, but at the end of the day, Tana Mojo is manipulating people, telling everybody how long she spent on this project, and then she's just selling a bunch of shit that anybody could get, okay? It's not exactly great, is it? Now, David Dobrik, Mr. Dobrik, hasn't exactly been a great month, has it? Now, this is very recent. It's literally just happened within the last few days. In fact, my video yesterday is literally talking about this. So I'm really not going to go into that much detail, but all you need to know is Jeff Wittek, who was in the vlog squad, he was David Dobrik's friend, was doing a bit for David Dobrik's video where he was tied to an excavator, swinging around, and David Dobrik was in control. He went up going way too fast, faster than they actually agreed on, and then when the excavator stopped, Jeff Wittek smashed his face into the frame. Now, this has caused Jeff Wittek to get 9 surgeries so far. He's going to be getting a 10th, and as you can imagine, he's not exactly the biggest fan of David at this point, but then he carried on being a good friend. He actually defended David when people were going at him for this incident. But that wasn't until recently when Jeff Wittek found out that David Dobrik was filming a documentary, and he had some words to say about Jeff.
Creator of the documentary, director, whatever you want to call it. He called me, FaceTimed me, to show me the clip of the interview when David addressed the situation with the crane. And he said that it was my fault. David blamed me for the crane. He insinuated that I was crazy. I always want to push it. And I'm the reason that this happened.
So as you can imagine, he's slightly pissed off. Like, he nearly actually lost his eye because of this incident, and the person who did it is now blaming him. Yeah. he's a bit of a dickhead, isn't he? There was a lot more to it that I spoke about in yesterday's video, but I feel like he can only go in either of the two bottom categories. You know what it is? I think he has to go in the bottom one, just simply because this isn't the first time we've heard of David doing stuff like this. He has a bit of a track record, and he's still doing it. I mean, this interview was apparently recent. He just seems to be more worried about himself than other people, so yeah. Bottom tier for Mr. Dobrik. Now, Shane Dawson, eh? It had been a while. Now, the first time we spoke about Shane this month was when he talked about how he was getting sued from Chuck E. Cheese.
They did threaten to sue me, and it was a whole thing. And it was big. It was really fucking scary.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He basically just, like, lied about the company to 40 million people on a YouTube video, and they tried to sue him. God, you couldn't see that coming, could you? It was all pizza scandal where Shane was trying to insinuate that Chuck E. Cheese, like, recycle their pizzas, like the leftovers of other people's meals, which would be fucking disgusting. But this also wasn't the only time we spoke about Shane this month. We also spoke about Shane just a few days ago because Shane Dawson and Tana Mojo seem to be reunited. And I think I speak for everyone here when I say, thank God, honestly, my favourite duo finally back together. I just can't believe it. Yeah, it's weird because when Shane Dawson was getting cancelled, Tana Mojo jumped on the train of trying to cancel him and were liking a bunch of tweets talking about how weird Shane was with Tana when she was only 18, i.e. he got her to piss on him, which I still can't believe is a real video. But as soon as the haters died down, she doesn't care. But if we're talking about Shane specifically, I don't think he did anything overly wrong this month. Like, by his standards, he's been an absolute angel. So I reckon we go into low-key could be worse, bro. Because it could be, couldn't it? I mean, we've seen firsthand that it could be a lot worse. The Yates family, more specifically Austin Mcbroom. Now, Austin uploaded a video this month called Confronting My Daughter About a Boy. She was shook, in which he talks about how his daughter has been talking about potentially getting a boyfriend, and Austin Mcbroom wasn't very happy about this. So he said a few things in his video that pissed people off. For example, he said he was going to be stricter with his daughters than he was with his son.
I don't want a parent who's like so strict. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be more strict with my girls than my son.
What?
Yeah, that's just...
Stop.
That's just the nature of it. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah, and for once, I feel like Catherine is well and truly speaking for the people. And then he ended up hiding a camera whilst he confronted his daughter about a boy, and it's just really uncomfortable.
So I think it's time I talk to you about this. And I heard, I don't know if it's true, but, and I want you to be honest with me, okay? You can tell me, you can tell Daddy anything, right? Is it true that you have a boyfriend?
No.
I'm being serious, Al. I'm gonna take this very serious.
It's just such a weird video to upload, isn't it? So strange. This guy's so weird. Is it as bad as other stuff that he's done in the past? No, because yet again, like Shane Dawson, the standards are pretty low. I'm gonna put it at you really thought you did something, just because he's an absolute freak, and I feel like if I put him any higher than that, it's doing a disservice. Okay, Blair White. Now, I feel like this was one of the only times I've ever spoke about Blair. Maybe spoke about Blair on one other occasion with like a Jeffree Star situation a few years ago. But this is when she uploaded a video called Ethan Klein thinks he's smarter than Jordan Peterson and healthier than Joe Rogan. Now, she was arguing against a bunch of Ethan's points, and one argument she made was about somebody who actually got arrested for misgendering their child. But it turns out this situation in particular just wasn't true, and it was actually just kind of a bunch of lies.
People have been put in jail for misgendering in Canada. You have here a Canadian man jailed for calling his biologically female child as daughter. And is that something that's widespread?
Okay, we gotta fact check that. Okay, surprise, surprise. Blair Witch is doing conservative propaganda. She's a liar. The father was thrown in jail for repeatedly violating a court's order.
So as you can see, the guy wasn't arrested because he misgendered the child. He was actually going against a court order and was told not to give any specific information that could identify the child. And he started doing a bunch of interviews, give bits of information that could put the child's identity at risk, and then he got arrested. So it's just not true. Now, it is slightly ironic because Blair's video on Ethan is trying to go at Ethan for spreading like misinformation and whatnot, and then she ends up doing it. But yeah, where do we put Blair on the list? I'm debating whether it goes into either of these two. I reckon we put it at low-key could be worse, bro, just because I don't think it's on the same standard of what Tana Mojo did. But it really is in the middle of them two, okay? I might come back and change it later, who knows? Now, the Prince family, eh? My personal favourite family channel. I made a whole video talking about the Prince family with a bunch of different situations that weren't just this month, but just situations in general that make you really question how they even have a channel in the first place. They had a bunch of previous titles which were just quite frankly, very, very strange. 14-year-old boy had sex with a 22-year-old girl and got her pregnant reaction. 13-year-old girl had sex with over 20 men reaction. 13-year-old boy almost got, yeah, I definitely can't say that word. 16-year-old white girl getting fucked by black guys on Beyond Scared Straight. Yeah, you kind of get the point of what's going on here, right? We've also got other classics like she is breastfeeding with these big ass titties. Is rice gum really gay reaction? How to finger a girl reaction, and the absolute worst of the worst, the one that really should get him locked behind bars, Damn Daniel song and video reaction. And then we spoke about other things like their proposal video, which when I actually search it, I found out that there's multiple proposal videos. But my personal favourite is this one, I Proposed to Bianca, where he pretends he got shot and then gets down on one knee.
Oh, damn! Damn! That is a... Hey, what happened? Damn!
Are you okay, bro?
Damn! What happened? Oh my God, what did you... Are you serious?
Yeah, it's every woman's dream, isn't it? The Prince family go at the bottom, okay? It's like not even debatable. There's no way I could put them in any other tier. It's bottom, right in the pits. 8 passengers, hey, another family channel. Jesus Christ, we went through a few of them this month, didn't we? I think I made 2 videos on the 8 passengers this month, and one of them was just looking at a bunch of awful clips from their videos, and if you aren't aware of who the 8 passengers are, then well done. You should probably click off this video. But if you want to go through the pain of finding out, then they are a family channel who have some slightly questionable morals. A few examples are, out of their 6 children, they decided to give 2 of them no presents at Christmas because they thought they were being a bit selfish, even though they are quite literally children. They even took away one of their child's beds for 7 months because he did a prank on his brother. And then on top of that, she sent one of her child to like some behavioral wilderness camp for pretty much not doing anything that wrong, you know, just being a little bit selfish. And that isn't even scraping the barrel. There's a lot more that I spoke about in that video. But the second video I made was actually looking at their other channel called Connections. It's kind of like a parental and relationship advice channel where they'll talk about a bunch of stuff. I mean, here's one of them talking about sex.
Another time it would be, I want to have sex and I want it right now.
As you can see, Kevin here is down bad. And yeah, I don't think it's any surprise. Obviously, it's the bottom in the pits. I mean, where else were they going to go? And now moving on to Nickacardo Avocado, and I don't think it's exactly going to be much of a surprise that we have made a few videos on Nickacardo recently. He really is becoming like the new Trisha Paytas of this channel. Like, when was the last time I spoke about Trisha? I mean, I tell you what, this is my last video on Trisha, and that was over a month ago. I'm pretty sure, genuinely, this is the longest I went without speaking about Trisha in probably a good couple years. Can I get a round of applause, please? We really have turned over a new leaf here on the Marky channel, as you can see. I'm improving, guys. Are you proud of me? We've had a few things to talk about with Nickacardo this month. It started with him uploading my final mukbang on YouTube and then proceeding to upload about 20 other mukbangs. And then we also looked at his disabled series, even though he has now changed the titles and it no longer says that he's disabled in them. Maybe that's because he really thought for a second, maybe it is a bit dodgy to start claiming I'm disabled when I'm not. And now a week after he's just had surgery on his foot and saying the recovery time will be 4 months, he is back to just trotting about like he usually does.
Talk to me like that. I can talk to you however I want.
I mean, that's some speedy recovery, Nicholas, mate. Yeah, I'm gonna put him at you really thought you did something, because yeah, I get it's all funny and everything, but at the end of the day, he did just lie about being disabled and lied about what would be quite a serious injury for no reason. And finally, we have Ethan Klein. Now, the only times we've actually spoke about Ethan this month have been from situations we've already kind of covered. He was obviously involved in the Blair White situation because he made the video kind of exposing the fact that Blair White lied. And he was involved in the David Dobrik and Jeff Wittek situation because Jeff's now going on the H3 podcast to talk about it, and Jeff also decided to call Ethan fat randomly on an Instagram story, which I still don't know where that came from. But I guess if it's all just based on what we've spoke about this month, he realistically has to go at the top, because I don't think we really said anything that negative about him. So yeah, that is my finished tier list of the month. I would love to know your thoughts. If you agree or disagree on certain people, please let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do a like down below. Subscribe if you are new, and if you want to let me know topics to talk about in future videos, the best way to do that is on my Instagram. It's @MARKIE. It's always linked in the description. And yeah, I guess until the next video, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.